You are standing over the bin, holding a charger for a phone that died 4 years ago. Your fingers will not open, and you cannot say why, which raises a question you have never quite put to yourself. What do you believe you are about to throw away? It is a length of plastic. It fits nothing you own. It fits nothing anyone you know owns. And yet you put it back in the drawer, the way you have put it back 3 times before, and you close the drawer and you feel something that is almost relief. Thrift is the alibi. You tell yourself the thing might be useful one day, and you know as you say it that this is not true, because you have never once gone to that drawer to solve a problem. Nothing leaves the drawer. Things only arrive. Look at what is in there. Cables with connectors. No living device accepts. A ticket stub gone soft at the folds. The lanyard from a job you left. A shirt from a life you no longer live. Utility is not the reason. Something else is being stored in that drawer, and it is not the objects. Nietzsche called the human being the animal that is permitted to make promises. He thought this was our strangest achievement, stranger than language, a creature able to hold a thread of will across time, to say that the person who wakes up next spring will honor what is decided tonight. A promise requires a memory of the will, an unbroken intention stretched between 2 versions of yourself who never meet. Most of what you own is exactly that. The guitar in the corner is a promise. The unopened language course is a promise. The running shoes are a promise made once in a shop by someone who was very sincere. Every kept object has a sentence attached to it, and the sentence is usually about the future. I will play again. I will get back to that weight. I will read this properly when things are quieter. You did not buy the shoes. You bought the version of you who runs at 6 in the morning and comes home with rain in your hair, and the shoes are the only evidence that you ever seriously intended that person into existence. The receipt survived. The person did not arrive yet. Gabriel Marcel noticed that what you have slowly begins to have you. A possession arrives promising to enlarge your life, and then it starts making quiet demands. It has to be stored and carried to the next flat and stored again. Multiply that by a drawer, then by a cupboard, then by a garage, and you get a life lived among unfinished promises, each one small enough to ignore and heavy enough to feel. You are not living with your things. You are living with your intentions, and they are watching you. The cupboard is not a museum. It is a waiting room. As long as the shoes are still in it, you have not yet failed to become a runner. The verdict is merely delayed. The case is still open. The promise is still technically in force. The moment the shoes go into a bag for the charity shop, the sentence changes tense. I was going to become a runner. That is the whole difficulty, and it explains the wild disproportion of the feeling. A person can stand paralyzed over a bin, holding 4 pence worth of plastic, because what is actually in their hand is a verdict they have spent years not delivering. Some objects make no promise about the future at all. The ticket stub promises backwards. So does the shirt and the birthday card and the phone with the dead battery that still has the messages on it. The vow inside those things is a vow to remember. I will not let this become nothing. You keep the stub because you stood in the rain for 2 hours outside that venue when you were 22, and the stub is the only thing left in the physical world that was there with you. It is not sentiment. It is evidence submitted to a court where you are the only judge and also the accused. One fear sits under both kinds of keeping, and it is worth saying plainly. You are afraid the object is load-bearing. You suspect, somewhere below argument, that the person who stood in that rain and the person who is going to learn the guitar live inside the thing rather than inside you, and that when it goes into the bin, they go with it. The keeping is not greed. It is a kind of guardianship. You are protecting a person nobody else remembers, and the fear is that discarding the thing discards them. Derek Parfit spent his career taking apart the idea that you are a single thing traveling through time, like a marble rolling down a tube. He thought a person is more like a rope. Overlapping fibers, each one connected to the next, none of them running the entire length. The one who bought the guitar is connected to you and is not identical to you. They are not waiting in another room for you to keep their word. They cannot be betrayed, and they cannot be robbed, because they did not go anywhere, and they are not owed anything. They already spent their whole life. They spent it becoming you. The refusal is not stupid, and it deserves better than the word clutter. Something real is at stake, and the people who tell you to simply let go have usually never sat with a box of a dead parent's belongings, deciding which cardigan carries them. Objects are the last witnesses. They were physically present. They were touched by hands that are gone, and once they are destroyed, the event exists only in memory, which fades, which lies, which will eventually stop. There is a genuine loss inside the bin. Grief is the correct response to it, not embarrassment. Nothing in that drawer is being remembered. That is the quiet trick of it. An object stored in the dark, behind other objects, unopened for years, is not keeping the memory alive. It is standing in for the work of keeping it alive, so that you never have to do it. You have outsourced your past to a shoebox, and then stopped opening the shoebox. The thing cannot hold the person. It can only remind you, and it can only remind you if you look at it, and you do not look at it. A key is not a room. Take one thing out of the drawer and hold it. Say the promise out loud, in the past tense, without softening it. I was going to learn Portuguese. Notice what happens, which is nothing. No one steps out from behind you. The person who made that promise is not standing there with their arms folded, because they used up their entire existence turning into the one who is holding the cable now, and that gives you an authority you have never used. You can release them. If you still make the promise, then the guitar comes out of the case and stands where your hands pass it every day, because a promise you actually intend does not belong in a drawer. If you do not still make it, the object has already done its work, and putting it down is not a deletion. It is a completion. The drawer will not be empty when you are done, and it does not need to be. A few things will survive the question, and those few become real in a way they never were while they were hiding in a heap of everything else, chosen twice, kept on purpose, looked at. The rest can go, and the people you used to be will go on existing exactly where they have always existed, which is not in the plastic and never was. They are the ones doing the looking. If this gave you something to sit with, that is what this channel is for. Small shifts in how you see your own life. I will see you in the next one.